Here in this video, we will take a look at the 4 different gods of the symbiotes, one that many of you might already know, and 3 others that have emerged in recent years, thus now creating more of a succession or a pantheon of these symbiote deities. Let's take a look at the first one and then go on to the most recent reveal. Let's get to it. So obviously we have the creator of the symbiotes first of all. His name was Knull. He was this ancient eldritch god of darkness and the original creator of the symbiotes. He existed in the void between the 6th and the 7th cosmos, a dark realm where he ruled in absolute shadow. But that all changed when the Celestials showed up, bringing light into his domain. Naturally, Knull wasn't happy about it. The Celestials even tried to give him a role as a king in black, but Knull wasn't having any of it. Instead, he rebelled, forging the very first proto-symbiote into a sword and using it to decapitate one of the Celestials. He then harnessed the divine power of the symbiote head to strengthen the sword, and this became the Necrosword, the All-Black, the first of the symbiotes, a proto-symbiote to be exact. Over time, he became a terrifying figure across the cosmos, though he would eventually found himself stranded on a nameless planet. There, after losing his sword to a native of the world, Knull discovered that he could merge his living abyss with lesser creatures, turning them into amorphous parasites that he could control. This led to the creation of the symbiotes. Knull established himself as the center of the hive mind he created, and he went on to conquer worlds, creating an army of symbiote dragons to do his bidding. The other symbiotes rebelled against Knull, trapping him on their home planet called Klintar, meaning cage in their language. They were no longer his tools of destruction. They become something more, something free. And the second here is Venom. In the King in Black series, Knull was back in a big way. After completely destroying Klintar, he reforms the All-Black, his legendary weapon, and unleashes his symbiote army, laying waste to everything in his path. On his way to Earth, Knull wrecks multiple planets and takes down a fleet of Kree and Skrull ships, either killing or infecting them with symbiotes. By the time he lands on Earth, there's basically nothing the heroes can do except fight back in vain. The destruction is massive and Knull is practically unstoppable, but then things start to turn. The Venom symbiote is reborn through the living abyss of the symbiote dragons and takes on a form of a giant, making a desperate move to attack Knull directly. So within the God Hive, the Venom symbiote manages to break free of Knull's control, somehow using Eddie Brock's codex to manifest as a massive building-sized version of Venom. Just when Eddie was about to take on Knull, the God of Light intervenes and resurrects him, giving Eddie a massive power boost through the Uni-Power. Now supercharged like never before, Eddie, still in the form of Venom, confronts Knull. With his newfound strength, Eddie rips off Knull's symbiote armor and finally defeats him by hurling him into the sun, vaporizing the god of the symbiotes. After Knull's death, the Venom symbiote communicates with Eddie, revealing that the hostless symbiotes and the symbiote dragons are now free, and then Eddie/Venom officially becomes the new god of the symbiotes, their leader now that Knull's reign is over. In Venom issue 18, we found out that Venom has achieved this final form as a symbiote god known as the Eventuality. The Eventuality is a living cluster of multiple Venoms and an omen of how powerful the Venom symbiote can become. This ultimate form is also the conduit for dark magic and can even affect space and time itself. The third here is Carnage. So Carnage's path to become a symbiote god started with a dark hole, a powerful dark magic book, which a cult tried to sacrifice him to revive the elder god Chthon. Carnage then escaped and briefly gained new powers from the dark hole, fueling his obsession with greater strength. And even after losing those abilities, his desire for godhood now only grew. Later, after dying, he was resurrected by the cult of Knull with a piece of the Grendel symbiote. Breaking free from Knull's control, Carnage consumed the symbiote codices from both living and dead hosts, gaining immense power and transforming into a being called Dark Carnage. He was also able to absorb a symbiote bonded to Hulk and thus got access to the power of the One Below All. His rampage eventually led to a showdown with Venom where Eddie Brock defeated him, but Cletus's consciousness survived within the symbiote hive mind. Now Cletus Cassidy, who survived as a codex, was resurrected by him telepathically taking control of other symbiotes and then went on to seize control of Iron Man's Extrembiote, while looking for new ways to upgrade himself, making him a high-level threat once again. These bloody travels took Carnage and Cletus Cassidy as far as the Norse realm of Nidavellir, where he used its forge and codex from the Dark Elf Malekith to empower himself. Carnage's next big move came when he started killing Venoms across the multiverse, absorbing their codices and becoming even stronger. He even created his own version of the all-black Necrosword, which he called the All-Blood, and used it in an alternate universe to kill Knull and take over his godly powers, thus becoming a true god of the symbiotes. Now wielding both the Darkhold's magic and his godly symbiote powers, Carnage in his newfound godhood has become something that maybe we can call the King in Red. And the fourth one here is Meridius. Meridius, although not a true symbiote in a sense that he wasn't created by Knull, does have all of the biology and physiology of one. He is a twisted, time-manipulating version of Eddie Brock and a King in Black with a dark agenda. He's the last version of himself to exist before becoming the eventuality. But unlike the true purpose of the King in Black as a cosmic caretaker, Meridius fights to avoid his destined fate. From the shadows, he controls an organization known as the Absent Throne and dominates all symbiotes. He created the Garden of Time, a space where he manipulates his past versions of Eddie Brock using his centuries of experience to master his King in Black powers. He has created a new form of undead symbiotes from zombies, calling them Symbiotes, and also assisted the Life Foundation in creating anti-symbiote weapons. Existing as a codex within the symbiote hive mind, Meridius takes physical form by possessing symbiotes, allowing him to use all their powers, particularly their shape-shifting abilities. His reach isn't limited to the present either. He can send his consciousness backwards and forwards in time, controlling symbiotes across eras and spaces. Meridius' control over symbiotes is so refined that he can prevent his own other selves from using their powers in his presence and even trap them in symbiotes of his choice. He can project his mind into any symbiote and take complete control over its body, either using it to carry out his will or expelling it with a transmode virus. He can even merge with different symbiotes into one. He is a true god of symbiotes. Now, as you can see, there's not one but 4 gods of the symbiotes. There's Knull, then Venom in the King in Black, then Carnage in the Death of the Venomverse, and now Meridius in the Venom Wars. Now lay back for a while and have a long thought about it. And if you're ready, do check out more of our videos on our channel. We might have content you haven't thought about. Anyway, like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care, fam.